Okay, let's get started. Got a big day today with Pow Pow. There's the NASDAQ indiscriminately climbing after hours for no reason. Um, okay, I don't know what else to say about that. Let's look at VIX. VIX grinding down here. Now, yeah, because I have a support line that we landed right on my other uh, trading platform. So it's got to be in all these wicks somewhere in here. Hello. But I think we came down and we pretty much landed on it yesterday. Oh, that's huge. So there's, yeah, that'll work. So VIX, yeah, it's staying elevated until Powell speaks. Now, Powell, there's less than 1% chance that they make any kind of rate decision. If they do cut, the market would react negatively because literally no one is prepared for that. So VIX would go crazy. The market would sell off as they adjust. And then once they adjusted, it'd probably rip back up. The reason being because I think government would borrow as much money as they possibly could because it would be their last chance with cheaper rates. Because, and here we're going to go to the next one, with oil going up, your inflation is going to go up. So the Fed cannot keep rates low. Rates are going to need to go up with inflation. That's why they're in a bind. If they were ever going to cut, this would be their last time, I think. Unless, of course, the market goes into recession, and then that's their hope to drop oil. But I don't know how you do that, and I don't think it matters because Middle Eastern oil is in the 120s to 160s. Indian oil is 140. So all this other oil is flying, which means it's going to put pressure on U.S. oil because they're all going to come after U.S. oil if it stays this cheap. Which means it won't stay cheap for long as all that other world oil stays in the 150 plus. I mean, it's as high as 160s. But U.S. oil is not. It has not moved yet because our supply has not been harmed yet. We still have plenty of oil in the U.S. Now, other countries are going to start putting pressure on that. And that's also why I like South American oil. That's your ECs. Look at that day. You just You just can't be afraid. I mean, yeah, you just gotta ride the tiger. Um, EC and PBR, those are my personal favorites. Oh, little doji there. That's fun. But again, you're in this squeeze. If you're above the 5 MA and the upper Bollinger, if you're between those, you're squeezing up. So even though you have that doji, I mean, I'm not selling that. Let's see if we had one. Kind of a spinning top there. Yeah. Well, we'll see what we do. Again, I have no interest in leaving these. If they drop, I'll buy more. But it's got to break this 5 MA. So, like, PBR has to break $19 for me to exit it. And then I'd look to pick it back up. I'd see at 1750, but then I'd really be looking at 1670, right around that area. This will also affect offshore drillers because now their oil becomes extremely valuable too, puts pressure on that. Rig just made a huge acquisition. So that's why I like Rig here. Another one in these small WTI. I like this one. Still mulling around here. But I like Rig. I like Rig to be $10 to $12. And I would say by the summer. But I think probably a lot faster. We'll see. We should get $9 relatively quick, I would think. This chart is just a monster. If this is what I think it is, I think we're going to go crazy here. I think we should go to $14 rather quickly. That's what I'm hoping on. Okay. Now I wanted to go. I got sidetracked with oil. I wanted to go here. Hello. Okay. Apparently no economic calendar. But there's also data getting released before the PPI comes out and something else comes out before open. Really? So just the thing I need to see is not working. Fantastic. All right. Anyways, there's data that comes out before Powell. That before the rate decision. And then they have the dot plot. And all the dot plot is just where they see rates in the future, where each individual voting member sees rates in the future. So people will look at the dots, and if the dots change drastically, the market will also sell because it's not geared for anything changing. It's geared for the status quo. These hypers had a pretty good day yesterday. Again, this is right on my support. This is a weekly. This is weekly, so this is long scale. So it's right on my support. So I'd like to see us lift from here. Starting to go. Let's see. Are we broken out of this shorter this from here? Have we broken out of that? I think we probably have. Yes, for sure we have. So we should push up here. We should at least challenge this. So wherever that gets us, and look at the end of this thing. Look at those Bollingers. Look at them pinching down. I hope we get a massive move out of here. Now, what would cause a massive move into nuclear, uranium? Who knows? And these are individual reactors. So these are the power plants of the future. So what's going to drive that? I don't know, but they all are starting to look really good. Really good. Except for Nano. What is up with you, Nano? Why are you still squeezing down? Are you the warning or are you the exception? Now that is it. Nano always had a different chart than the others. You can see these charts. Those are all very similar. Nano is not like the others. And this is all a bunch of overlap and more overlap and more overlap and drop. So you should hit a drop here somewhere close here, like 1960. And then you should start ripping out of here. I like to call these, this looks like a leading diagonal to me. And I like to call them lightning in and rockets out. So you come in like a lightning bolt and then you leave it like a rocket ship. And then they kind of look like lightning bolts, which is why I call them lightning. But yeah, this one was down while the others were up. This still needs to finish this out, I think. Yep, I think in that 19 range. But the others, Oklo and especially New Scale, look really good. Really good. Okay. Retail. Let's take a look. Let's see how it's holding up. Well, we're way below there. All right, good thing I got out of there. But it looks like you possibly could get a bounce. I don't think so. I think this is probably a dead cat and you drop again. Just my personal bias. I mean, these could rip up. I mean, that looks like it could start ripping up. That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good either. Huh. Interesting. I want to say almost that pervy ones look good. Abercrombie, Victoria, Gap. Okay. UMAC running again. Yesterday I said it hit that support and it took right off. So there it is. And that looks like a 1, 2, 3. So hopefully that's back on its way to 26. 26. Is that where I had it? Oh, this could go much higher. Much higher. Why did I have 26 on this? This could go way higher. Let's just do a quick one. Just for fun. Uh, 2660. That's the 100%. That's what I must have been looking at. But 40, that's my overall target on that. And that's what that chart looks like to me. That looks like that has 40 written all over it. I'd like to break this 23. I think we could do that pretty easily. I think we could probably hit 2660 and then drop. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see the market just rally up and suck everybody in, and then Powell come in and, I don't know, be a giant wet blanket, just throw cold water on everything. But yeah, I'd like to see this break this to finish your cup and then pull back and then rip up. But I'm not going to sell into that because you always have the risk that you just rip right through that and head right to your 1618 there. So yeah, I just sold options on this. I still have my stock on it. I should have bought again yesterday when it hit that. Oh, too many stocks to buy. Planet Labs, they did that offering. It looks, I mean, that looks like a good chart. You're really far away from the, I mean, you've got a lot of separation there. So if you break out, I don't know how long you can sustain that for. Now ASTS looks better. That's pretty stretched. Iridium had a good day. Still like this, like it to close up to 32. That's the candle I was looking for. We kept bouncing in this nonsense, and I'm like, let's go. And finally went. Had a good day there. Why is this thing such a beast? Jeez. I don't know, but it just keeps going. GSAT, this is in the satellite, this is space sector again. This could go either way. I mean, this could pop out and start blasting off, or it could drop back down to 44. I would be afraid to buy a lot of this stuff here. Now, this looks like it's starting to turn around here. Rich Tech at 235. So that was a 5. Then you had your A, B, C. And now you go 5. 2 and 2. This is your 3, I think. Yeah, it should drop more, but this looks like it wants to start turning around, but it has not yet. So I'd be afraid of this. Again, I'd be afraid of most everything today. I think today is going to swing people around until Powell speaks. And then once he speaks, then the market's going to have a direction it's going to go. That's just my feeling. Let's look at some miners because they had a great day. Again, why is Tronics in here? I need to clean my stuff up. This is not a miner. This is food. This is food additive, paint additive. Funny how they're the same thing. It makes stuff shiny. So we should be well on our way to 14 to 15, I would think now. Let's check with the weekly. Yep, I would think so. Where's this? 1140. So a stop at 1140. This was one of my favorite picks because look at this. Look at this chart. You held this low. You even held it through COVID. And yeah, I think we're going to have a massive spike out of here. I think this thing is, for whatever reason, this is going to be huge in the future. American Lithium. Let's get out of the monthly. Weekly starting to turn around. That's starting to look good. Daily starting to turn around, starting to look good. I mean, you have this little gap left here down to 338. I mean, can you do a quick crash? Sure. You could also you could also be done fairly soon. There's what I wanted to see. CDE. Okay, just back to the 5MA. So we should drop again. I'm looking to pick this up at $16, right around $16. And rather than me search for it, why don't I just type it in? Hecla. Good. Okay, that's below the 5MA. See, this is squeezing down. So again, I look for this to drop also right into that $14 range. And then that's where I will be looking at these. I'll be looking at all the miners there. Ooh, let's take a look at NAC now that I see that. Looks like we're going to roll down again in NAC. And NAC is its own beast. It's it has rights to a mine, but it's involved in all kinds of lawsuits. So it is, and permits, and it's just waiting for news. And once it gets news, it'll take off or drop. Yeah, and as long as we hold this 20 cents, we should be good. All right, let's look at you, Amy, again. Are we trying to break out or are we trying to break down? That's the question. Yeah, that's what I'd be watching today. I'm watching to see right around 1080, we'd call that. Or if it drops, I imagine it probably, oh, I don't know. Today being today, it'll probably swing all over the place. Let's look at Vale. Vale's a tough cookie. Look at that above the 5 MA. I don't think you had enough drop though. I think you still need to drop down here into the $13 range, $12 range. But again, this is where I want to be in the future. Things like Vale, things like Trox. Well, look at my positions. Grow, Potash, UMAC. This is a lithium, ASTS, Rig, Iridium, Hallador, coal. I'm a buyer of coal here. Although this looks like we're going to turn down. That would be a recession warning to me. Almost like they would lower rates. Or maybe Powell says something like the economy's in worse shape than he thought. Because this is coal. This is energy. This should be starting to rip up with oil at high prices, because they should start wanting to use coal as an alternative. But if it's not really getting a bid, then that means they have no need for an alternative, which means they're not producing as much energy, which means we're probably well into a recession. I just don't. Not that I don't see that. I mean, I see that with as possible with the economy, but there's so much money in the system. I don't know how these don't just rip up, because the money manifests itself in energy prices, in goods. That's how they really tax you. Yeah, this doesn't look good. And maybe this also goes with cliff because Cliff is a major user of coal, and this looks terrible. I don't know what is happening with Cliff, but it's terrible. Well, I do know it's the automobile industry. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's just enough to put pressure on the Midwest where they don't use enough energy and so they don't have the need for coal. That's about the only guess I have. Okay, my Indo is maybe getting filled this morning. I have 373. I have orders all the way down to, is it 373? Yeah, it looks like we could go lower though, 336. I think I have 373. Again, I'm a buyer of this. And the reason why world oil is going up is because China's economy is, I think they reported like 22% increase in imports their last report. So I mean, they had a huge increase, and their increases are coming from Africa, and that's what part of my thesis is that it's the rise of the global South. So again, that's why I like South America. Because if China's going to produce, if they're going to have this massive production, they're going to suck all those materials from South America. So South America is going to get fat money off of those materials and energy. And Indo, if China's sucking up all the energy they can get, and it's super expensive out there in the Middle East where they get 40% of their energy from, we should start seeing bids in Indo here. Especially Japan gets their energy also from the Middle East, and Korea, although those two are in declining markets. They don't have rising GDP, not like China. Okay. So there's my rambling for the day. Let's close it off with cues. We could get up to 609, just about 610, I think. I think I had us as high as 618. If we get a real crazy run. Where's 618? Yeah, 618 is like right in here. So tagging this wall again and then falling over. But I don't have us. I mean, we could break out. That's fine. I'm in some stocks that are doing just fine with that. So if we want to break out and go, I'm okay with that. The only thing that I own is VIX. Yeah, I just don't believe this market. And look how oversold we are already. Let's see on the 4-hour. You're starting to get to that point where you start to turn. You've got a good push there. So yeah, this morning could be interesting. They could just rip it up Oh, really? You're still not going to show me anything? Okay. Yeah, look at those Bollingers pinching. I mean, this wants to rip up again. They just want to keep pushing this thing. I think we might be in for a disaster today. This happened before where we ran up into Powell speaking. And I remember it clear as day. It was 2022, and it was when we were going to come out of this bear market, and everyone was all giddy. Yay, we're coming out of the bear market. Powell's going to cut rates. And then this was Powell in Jackson Hole. No rate cut for you. And then it was just dump, 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 dump. It was an entire week of just dumping. I kind of get that feeling that that's kind of what we're heading for. But that's just me. All right. It'll probably get wild out there. So be safe, be wise, be bold. And as always, good luck.